Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I'm Arif, your cloud learning journey partner. A quick question, are you interested to learn about AWS but not quite sure like from where I need to get started? Well, today I'm here to help you. I'm gonna cover top 10 AWS service overview that will help you to build a very strong foundational knowledge. Well, I can still remember when I first logged into AWS console, I was overwhelmed with all the services. They have more than like hundreds of services. And it's very hard to understand like which particular service I need to focus at the very first time. So for that reason, today I'm gonna create this video where you will know exactly which are the top 10 AWS services that you must need to know. And I'm gonna help you to understand the basics of the services. Well, maybe you have finished your studies and now you want to learn about cloud. This video can help you to have a very strong foundation knowledge, or you want to do a career transition from another field to cloud. And this video could be a very first level of introduction of cloud computing sector. Well, after watching the video, I can guarantee you that you will have way more better understanding of these top 10 AWS services. And from there, you can always go for some certification to be an expert in the AWS sector. Before starting the video, I just want to talk about myself. Well, I'm Arif. I do have more than 9 years of experience in cloud computing and cybersecurity field. I hold multiple certification in AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, and beside that I also have CISSP and CCSP certification, which you can consider as like cybersecurity gold standard certification. Well, this channel is all about cloud computing, cybersecurity, and IT career related tips. So if you are interested in this topic, this channel is definitely for you. I'm gonna upload a tons of videos related to this topic, so please like and subscribe to my channel so that you can see my upcoming contents. So without further delay, let's explore the top 10 AWS services that we must need to know as a cloud engineer. I have logged into my personal AWS account, and from here we're gonna go through the top 10 AWS service overview. The goal of today's video is to get you familiar with these top 10 AWS services. And if you want to know more in details about the services, I have also created videos in my channel where I have discussed and configured everything in a very detailed way for each services. I'm gonna add those video links under the description. From there you can look into those service configurations. So the first service that we must need to know as a cloud engineer is EC2. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. So whenever in AWS we are talking about servers, we are talking about EC2. In EC2 term, for servers we call it instances. So instances is equal to servers. From the left panel you can see it has many subsections. It is quite a big service, so you're gonna have to spend some time to know more in depth about the services. I'm gonna cover the basics overview today. So from here we can launch instances, we can launch Windows servers, we can launch Ubuntu servers. All the AMIs and images are here. We can launch it from this particular service. And from here we can choose our own AMIs if we have any, or we can use AWS provided AMIs. In AWS, whenever we're talking about volumes, we're talking about EBS. So when we're creating a server, we need a storage to configure our operating system to store our data. So this is what we use. This is called the Elastic Block Storage, EBS. And we know that for every server, so when you're dealing with servers, you have to deal with network, because we want to secure our connectivity. We want to make sure that it's available, it has proper configuration. So here it has a little bit of network security section, networking section. In another service called AWS VPC, where we're going to explore this network section a little bit more. And when we have servers, we also need to have load balancer. For an example, if we are talking about Amazon, okay? So when we are talking about Amazon, we're talking about a massive scale of e-commerce platform. So for sure, they don't have one server, they have like thousands of servers. So this load balancer are going to help you to distribute the traffic equally to different all the servers. So all the servers gonna fulfill the request of the customers. And there is also one service called auto scaling. Auto scaling is quite a good service. So for an instance, like again, we're going to talk about the Amazon company. So during the Black Friday, they're going to face a lot of more traffic, right? Because of the discount and sales. So when they're going to face this sort of traffic, the server they need to speed up new servers, because the servers that are running in the baseline couldn't cover all the requests. So this auto scaling gonna help to scale up and make more and more servers to fulfill all the requests. So this is a pretty cool service where you can do some automation. All right, so that's the first service overview, which is Amazon EC2 service. The second service we must need to know is Amazon S3. S3, we can compare it more of like a Dropbox. So in S3, we can create buckets. Under buckets, we can store our object, our files. And the cool thing about S3 buckets are it's limitless. We can put as many objects, as many files we want to, but we have to pay for the storage. So it's charged by monthly basis, and the metrics that is charged by is per GB basis. So per GB per month, that's the pricing model for S3. So under S3, we can create our buckets, and here we can store our files. One cool feature of S3 is that here we can host static website. So what do I mean by static website? Well, static website is the kind of website where it doesn't have a dynamic content. It's more of like straightforward. And the good part about storing static website in a S3 bucket is that it has almost like zero latency, and we don't have to manage the server behind the website. And in modern application deployment service, modern application architecture, this S3 static website hosting is highly used. So that's a very cool feature. All right, so now let's move forward and look into the third AWS service that we must need to know. The third service is Amazon VPC. VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud. So in the first service, EC2, we already talked a little bit about networking, that for servers we need network, and this VPC gonna help us to fulfill that requirement. Under VPC, we can see a lot of subsections. I'm gonna give a short overview of this section. So whenever we create an AWS account, by default we have a VPC, the default VPC for every region, and then we can create our own VPCs if we want to. Under VPCs, we got these particular matrices like the CIDR block, like the size, how big is our VPC. And after the CIDR block, then we can have some subsections too, which is called subnets. We can then divide the VPC CIDR block into multiple subsections, which are subnets, and we can make some subnets as a public subnet and some subnet as a private subnet. And the reason behind is that for web servers, we always want to have the web server deployed in the public subnet so that people can access our website. For an example, whenever we're hitting Amazon.com, we are pretty much hitting the web server. And what about the database? The database should be always in a private subnet, because we want to secure our data and we want to avoid any sort of data breach or any sort of compliance issues. So that's why we need to have public and private subnet. Then again, we do have route tables, internet gateways. It's all a network terminology. In my VPC video, I have covered each and every section in a very quiet, detailed manner. So I'm gonna add the video link under the description. From there you can learn way more about VPC. We also have security group. Security group is a very interesting one. We need to know about it. Well, when we have a web server, we want to protect the server. So here we can define some inbound rules and the outbound rules, so that we have the control, like who can access our server, who can access into servers, what kind of port we want to open for the server. So that's a quick overview of VPC. After VPC, the fourth service we must need to know is AWS IAM. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. So imagine you do have a large organization and you do have some developers, you have some systems administrator and some other user departments. And your application is hosted on AWS. So under the AWS, you want to create multiple users, right? So for developers, you want to create a lot of developer users. For system administrator users. So from IAM, you can control all the access, like what kind of permission they have, what kind of resources they can access. And the good part is that you don't have to manage the permissions like per user basis. You can always create user group. For instance, for developers, you can create a developers group, okay? And under developers group, you can assign all the roles or the permissions that developers should have. So the developers group will have all the permission, and whenever you create a new developer, you're gonna just add the developer under the developers group so that you can centrally manage all the access and policies. So it's a pretty cool feature. And one more important thing we need to know about IAM is that IAM roles. So when you are using EC2 server and you want to use S3 from EC2, so you want to give your EC2 server access to S3 service. So here we can use AWS IAM roles, where we can assign our EC2 server the permission to access S3. So this is a very important feature that we must need to know. So that's a quick overview of IAM. And now let's move to our next service, the fifth service, which is Amazon CloudFront. Amazon CloudFront is more of a like CDN service. CDN stands for Content Delivery Network. So let's think about a scenario. So you have deployed an application in North Virginia region that's working fine, but you know that your customers are from all around the world. Some customers are from Europe, some are from Asia section. So how are you gonna make sure that whenever your overseas customer gonna try to access your services, your service gonna respond very quickly? This Amazon CloudFront gonna help you with that. So what it does basically, Amazon CloudFront create a lot of edge locations where they cache the data, the important data there. So whenever the customer gonna try to access our application, the data will be served to from their nearest edge location. So the whole process gonna be faster. So that's why Amazon CloudFront is a very useful service. From Amazon CloudFront, we have to create distribution. From here, we can define our cache behavior. We can define our origin and how the cache mechanism gonna work. It's a very cool service. In modern application, CloudFront is highly used because everyone wants to make sure their app is optimized, that people whenever from like anywhere from the world try to access their application, it's gonna be faster and reliable. All right, now let's move forward to our sixth AWS service overview, which is Amazon CloudWatch. So whenever we're deploying our application in a prod environment, we want to have a clear visibility, actually what's going on. We want to create some dashboard. From there we can see all the metrics. We're gonna want to set up some alarms. So if something goes wrong, we want to get notified to our email address like, yeah, something is going wrong, I need to fix it. We want to see all the logs, all the traces, like what's going on with our application. This logs gonna help us to figure out like the exact error, and we can sort out things way faster. So Amazon CloudWatch gonna help you with all of this. Under Amazon CloudWatch, we can create alarms for our resources and integrate with our resources and get notification to our email addresses. We can see all the log groups of AWS services that can help us to troubleshoot stuff and make sure our application is running smoothly. We do have a lot of cool features of Amazon CloudWatch. In my Amazon CloudWatch video, I have explained each and every services in a very depthly manner. So please visit to the video to see more in details. Now let's talk about our seventh AWS service overview that we must need to know, which is Amazon WAF, which is more of like AWS security service. So whenever a company is making a decision whether they want to move their infrastructure from on-prem to the cloud, their major concern is the security, because when they're moving the data from on-prem to the cloud, they're relying on the cloud provider security feature, so they don't have the full control. In AWS term, we call it the shared responsibility model. So under shared responsibility model, for the security, some part is managed by the AWS side and some part must be managed from the user side, and AWS provided us with some very cool security features that we can use to protect our data. AWS WAF is one of those. WAF stands for Web Application Firewall. So when we are using WAF, we can create some rules. We can filter our traffic pattern, like which traffic we're gonna accept and which traffic we're gonna reject. Then we can integrate this WAF rules to our resources like CloudFront, like API Gateway, to make sure our application is secure. We can also integrate the bot controls. That's a feature of WAF that will protect us from DDoS attacks and the bot attacks. So it's a pretty cool feature. We need to know more and more of cloud security services, because if you know cloud security, you're all sorted. It's highly in demand. So please go through all the features of WAF, and it's gonna really help in your career. The next service we must need to know in AWS is RDS. RDS stands for Relational Database. So whenever we are dealing with a relational database, we are usually talking about this AWS RDS solution. Under AWS RDS, if I click here, create database, from here you can see we can create MySQL, MariaDB, PostgreSQL, Oracle, all the relational database we can create from here within few clicks. That's pretty awesome. So the good part about RDS is more of like AWS managed service. So what does it mean? So that means like we can create the service, the RDS, we can connect to this RDS cluster, but we can't completely kind of assisting to this RDS server. So those parties managed from AWS side. So it makes things way simpler for us. We can focus more on our application. The patches, the security, the other important stuffs are taken care of by AWS side. We don't have to worry about the uptime and stuff. So which is pretty cool. AWS has made our life way easy with this AWS RDS service. The ninth service we must need to know as a cloud engineer is AWS Lambda. Nowadays, serverless is a big thing. More and more companies are interested in this particular service. They want to do experiment with serverless architecture. They want to integrate it in their platform. Well, what is serverless? Well, server is more like a kind of like a magic, where we do have our code sitting somewhere, and when there's a trigger, when someone is invoking some function is invoking the Lambda function, then it gonna get executed, and we're gonna get charged only for that particular time. So it is a very good strategy to optimize the cost, because at the back end our server is not running all the time to host our code or application. So it's pretty cool. We can do a lot of cool stuff. If we want to do some automation or stuff like that, we can always use AWS Lambda functions. And let me show you one more thing. If I click here, create Lambda function, from here you can choose the language, like the programming language. You can choose Node.js, you can use Java, you can use Python, you can use Ruby. So we do have a lot of options. So if we have our code, I want to put it under AWS Lambda, it's pretty easy, and it's cost effective, and also it helps us to create a very cool serverless architecture feature, which is highly in demand. If you know AWS Lambda, it's a blessing for your AWS cloud carrier. All right, so the last service we must need to know to become a better cloud engineer is AWS CloudFormation. AWS CloudFormation is a pretty good service. We use it a lot in our day-to-day life. So what does it do? Well, So far, whatever we have gone through all the services, if we want to configure it, we have to go through the AWS console, then we have to go to the services, we have to configure manually. What if we do have a solution where we can just run some script and the complete architecture can be deployed within a few clicks? Isn't it amazing? Well, AWS CloudFormation can do that for you. Using AWS CloudFormation, you just only have to have a script like a YML file where you're gonna have to describe everything, all the features and stuff that you want to have for your application. Once you have it, the blueprint, the template, you just need to go here, like create a stack, and you need to upload the stack, and you have to just click run. And boom, in the backend, within few minutes, the complete architecture could be deployed, which could take at least like hours and hours if you want to do it manually. So this is a very cool service. So if you want to replicate your architecture from one account to another account, this is a cool feature. If you want to have it for a backup, like a disaster recovery plan, the CloudFormation can always help you with that. So it's a really cool service that we must need to know. And in 2024, CloudFormation is highly used. If you see some job description, most of the time they're gonna ask you like if you do have experience with services like CloudFormation to create templates, to execute it, to know ins and out of the service. Congratulations guys for reaching this far of today's video. Today we have covered top 10 AWS services overview. I know this is a lot of information to grasp, but trust me, your future self gonna thank you for investing this time to go through today's video, because here we have covered a lot. If you guys have any questions related to any of the service or any doubts, please let me know in this comment section and I'm gonna reply in a very short period of time. Thank you so much guys for watching my videos. It means a lot to me. Our community is growing and more cloud enthusiast people are joining to learn more, to help each other. Well, if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel so that you can see my upcoming videos. That's all for today. Have a great and wonderful day.